With no U.S. House Speaker, the death of Senator Dianne Feinstein, and Congress needing to pass nearly a dozen spending bills before the government runs out of money, it is unlikely that Congress will pass any more Ukraine aid anytime soon. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales takes a closer look and joins us now with the latest. Erik?
Good evening, Tracy. Yes, it's hard to believe right now Congress remains in recess with no House Speaker as lawmakers attend the funeral of the late Senator Dianne Feinstein out in California. As we know, lawmakers stripped out nearly $6 billion in funding for Ukraine's war effort, all in an effort to pass the latest 45-day continuing resolution. But Pentagon officials say that the clock is ticking and U.S. funds to help the Ukrainians win on the battlefield is running out.
We have enough funding authorities to meet Ukraine's battlefield needs for just a little bit longer, but we need Congress to act to ensure there is no disruption in our support.
Pentagon officials say existing funds are dwindling, slowing down the U.S. resupply of some of its own forces. Senator Lindsey Graham and others tell me pulling out now would be a foreign policy disaster.
Pulling the plug on Ukraine and letting Putin get away with this invasion will destabilize the world more than Afghanistan. So after having been to Ukraine, you can see how the Ukrainian military has used to great effect the assistance we provided.
Authoritarian leaders around the world are watching closely to what happens in Ukraine. And so, if the American people were to give up on the people of Ukraine, that would send a terrible message around the world.
We've already seen what the brave Ukrainians fighting for their freedom can do with our help. They've repelled Russia's brazen aggression and shown that they can win this war. We just can't afford to let up supporting them now.
The U.S. has already given more than $110 billion, and some say no more, especially with the U.S. debt at $33 trillion and growing.
No funding for Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely. Funding a war that's continuing to murder people, funding a war that's defending another country's border but not our own border, that's absolutely my red line.
We cannot continue to put the needs of other countries above our own. We cannot save Ukraine by dooming the U.S. economy, and we certainly cannot save Ukraine by fighting a war with Russia.
Others say accountability of the current aid must happen.
There's got to be accountability for how that money is spent. It's got to be spent in a way which is not stolen, which is wisely used, which fulfills the mission of the Ukrainian military.
It is important to note that Congressman Jim Jordan, one of the two so far who wants to be the next Speaker of the House, said that he wouldn't bring a Ukraine funding bill to the floor until Congress addresses the southern border crisis. So House Republicans could use this Ukraine funding as leverage, forcing the Senate to vote for more stricter border security measures. We also want to let you know that EWTN News Nightly has just been informed that former President Donald Trump may actually be making an appearance up here on Capitol Hill next week, as some House lawmakers may nominate him as the next Speaker of the House. We have to wait and see. At the Capitol, Erik Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.